Alright, the last film we're reviewing this week is called Holy Rollers, and this is a film starring Jesse Eisenberg of Zombieland and Adventureland fame, and he plays a member of a young Hasidic family seduced into the international drug smuggling ring, and he really does well as a young man involved in this whole thing, but it's Justin Bartha who really does well as the seducer, I guess you could call him. Now, Sam Goldite is of course Eisenberg's character, and he is a young man coming of age in a devout Hasidic family in Brooklyn, yada 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 yada. Now, of course, he's less than stellar, I guess you could say, in his rabbi studies or whatever, and promise of a life working in his father's garment store prove insufficient for, you know, whatnot. But anyway, he's tempted by his neighbor Yosef, played by Bartha, and his flashy, you know, appeal and his attitude. Now, of course, he agrees to help him transport medicine, quote-unquote, to Amsterdam. Of course, the medicine is actually ecstasy, and although he is horrified at first, oh no, as horrified as Jesse Eisenberg can possibly be, it's really quite funny the way he handles it. You almost picture Michael Cera doing the same thing, is that he is also, can't help but being, you know, appealed to all of this. Now, of course, Now Sam, of course, becomes seduced by this girl, and she is played very well by Ari Grainer, and she is really, really good here, one of her better roles. And he soon finds himself in over his head in this whole world, and it just really becomes one big mess after another. Now, the film really gets started on a real strong note here. I mean, you have this, you know, inside look at a closed, you know, Orthodox community, and just the way, you know, it's handled in the family sense. You know, it almost reminds me of that movie Serious Man, which was out last year for an Oscar for Best Picture. Now, he really shines as, you know, as really great physical comic moments in this film, like Eisenberg can do so well in many of his other films. But yet, the surprise is Justin Bartha, and he, of course, is, you know, is just doing so well here that, you know, you see this guy in little roles in such, you know, films as The Hangover playing Doug, and you don't think that he really just has that, you know, that role in him. He's just one of those guys, you know, you just stick him in a movie, he's kind of there, and he does his part. He's really good here. I think this is a big breakout for him, and I think he's had untapped talent maybe for quite some time after seeing this. Now, I gotta say though, this film has some, I guess you could say, poignant and fun scenes, really, that you could just really just pick apart. And, you know, this whole, you know, I guess you say, message about, you know, this whole industry, if you want to call it that, I guess for lack of a better term, really just has a lot to say in a both comedic and yet underlining serious manner. And, you know, the whole thing just becomes a big mess for this young man's life, and, you know, he just can't help himself. You know, he's just one of those lost identity films, just looking for it in all the wrong places, yet you think it's the right one. It seems as though films of appealing to teenage characters trying to find identity in themselves has been a theme on this week's show. But either way, I think Eisenberg handles it well. Now, again, the film does, however, suffer from a last act, and it just kind of, you know, it's kind of like this, like, okay, it can end now kind of thing. It could end it after an hour for me. But either way, Eisenberg and Bartha are both very enjoyable here, as is Grainer, and this is just such a good movie that, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, even when the last half hour dwindles off, you can still enjoy it. If that last, you know, a little while might have been better, it could have been a contender for one of the better films I've seen this year. But it is what it is, and it's still really good. So I give Holy Rollers 3.5 stars out of 5, and that is it for this week's edition of Bill Chasing the Movies. I'll be back with more big blockbusters, including the A-Team remake of an 80s TV series and The Karate Kid remake of an 80s film. Yeah. Well, we shall see how those pan out. Anyway, I'll have those reviews in addition to more films, and until then, if you want to support me, join my Facebook group, Bill Chasing the Movies. It is up there. Send me feedback. I will gladly respond. I love to discuss movies. So yeah, please do that. I'm begging you. Anyway, that's it for this week, and until then, I am Bill Chase, and I will be at the movies. Goodbye, everybody.